So, have you ever really stopped to think about what it's like to be the very first person in your entire family to go to college? We're going to dive into that today, what we're calling the pioneer's journey. It's all about the students who are the first to chart this new course in higher education. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down what first gen even means. Then we'll get into the hurdles you might not see coming. After that, we'll talk about the support systems out there, get a little inspiration from some famous trailblazers, and wrap up by looking at the legacy, what it really means to be the first.
So let's kick things off with a question that sounds simple, but it's actually kind of tricky. What does being a first-generation student really mean? You hear the term thrown around all the time, but you'd be surprised how much confusion there is.
I'll just ask you straight up, are you a first-generation college student? For a lot of people, that's not an easy yes or no. The answer can really change depending on who's asking and what definition they're using.
I mean, just hop on any online forum and you'll see what I'm talking about. People are always asking things like, hey, my parents got a degree, but it was in another country. So am I first gen? Or they get it mixed up with being a first-generation American. We definitely need to clear this up.
Well, lucky for us, there's an official definition to cut through the noise. The U.S. government actually put it into law. A first-generation college student is anyone whose parents did not complete a 4-year bachelor's degree. And that's it. It's not about where your parents were born or even if they took some college classes. The key word is complete.
Okay, so now we know what it means, but what does it feel like? Being a pioneer in anything means you're going to face challenges that other people just don't see, especially when you don't have that family roadmap to guide you.
A really insightful study from the Pell Institute breaks down the biggest hurdles. The top 3 are, number 1, financial struggles, which makes sense. Number 2, mental health concerns, which is huge. And number 3, dealing with bias and stereotypes. So we're talking about challenges that go way beyond just passing your classes.
And get this, a full 40% of the first-gen students in that study said they've personally dealt with stereotypes because of their status. Think about that. On top of all the academic and financial pressure, they're also fighting this invisible social battle every single day.
That statistic connects directly to this quote from Noemi Sigua, a senior at UConn. She just perfectly captures that feeling of imposter syndrome, that little voice in your head that says you don't really belong here and that you have to work twice as hard just to prove you deserve your spot.
And the pressure, it's not just coming from the outside. Noemi's words here really hit on the incredible weight these students put on themselves. It's this feeling that you're carrying the hopes and dreams of your whole family, and you just cannot afford to mess up.
But here's the good news. Pioneers are almost never truly alone. To help with all these challenges, some amazing support systems have been created to help these students do more than just get by, they help them thrive. And we have to talk about one of the biggest, the federal TRIO programs.
So TRIO is a huge deal. These programs actually came from the exact same law that defined first gen in the first place, and the whole point was to level the playing field. They have all these different programs like Upward Bound and student support services that offer everything from tutoring to financial aid counseling to mentoring for almost 1 million students.
And what's really telling is how this support goes beyond academics. Listen to what this student, Melissa Gunter, said. She talks about how the staff were just there for her, listening to her vent on the hard days. That sense of community, of having a safe space, can make all the difference.
And then you've got the practical side of things. Another student, Cameron Willie, said TRIO was a lifesaver because she didn't have to fight the entire campus just to get help with a tough subject. The help was right there when she needed it. That's a game changer.
So the impact of this journey and the support that helps along the way is it's profound. Let's shift gears a bit and get inspired. Let's celebrate some of the pioneers who walked this path and went on to literally change the world. First up, the incredible Viola Davis. She's an Academy Award-winning actress and, yep, a TRIO alum. And she said that her TRIO program, Upward Bound, gave her a whole new perspective. It taught her that where she came from didn't have to decide where she was going.
And the list just keeps going. You've got Michelle Obama. She was the first in her family to graduate college and went on to become a lawyer, a best-selling author, and the First Lady of the United States. And from the White House to the Supreme Court, Sonia Sotomayor grew up in the Bronx, was the first in her family to go to college, and became the first Hispanic Supreme Court justice in American history. Just incredible.
How about the business world? You've got Howard Schultz. He was also the first in his family to get a college degree, and he's the guy who built Starbucks into the coffee giant it is today.
And in the world of news and media, there's John Quinones, the ABC News correspondent. And look at that, another proud TRIO alumnus. You really start to see the direct line between these support systems and long-term success.
And of course, there's Oprah Winfrey. She started her journey as a first-generation student from rural Mississippi and became one of the most powerful, influential, and beloved people on the entire planet.
Seeing all these famous names is absolutely inspiring. But the real meaning of this journey, the heart of it all, is deeply personal. It's about way more than just individual success. It's about carrying this powerful mix of pressure, pride, and purpose.
This quote here, from a student journalist named Lucero Ponce, man, it just perfectly captures the soul of the first-gen experience. It's not just about getting that piece of paper. It's about fulfilling a dream that probably started long before you were born. It's about honoring sacrifices and building the life your parents always wanted for you. So, let's end with this. A question for everyone watching, but especially for those who are on this journey right now or are about to start it. When you're the one blazing the trail, you get to help define what it all means. So, for the next generation of pioneers, what does being first mean to you?